Accessing a student loan simplified and more convenient, strengthening our maritime borders through international partnership, and showing respect to hearing and speech impaired persons by using their names. Those and much more coming up on Jamaica Magazine. Hello, I am Adrian Atkinson. Welcome.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, May 5, 2022. The Jamaica Constabulary Force, the JCF, is reporting an overall 6.2% decline in major crimes since the start of the year. Incidents of rape went down by over 21%, shooting by 12.4%, and robberies by 9.7%. The figures were released at the JCF monthly press briefing on Tuesday. Police Commissioner Major General Anthony Anderson says the 1.7% spike in murders is due to gang and interpersonal conflicts, other criminal acts, and mob killings.
Western Jamaica accounts for the largest increase, and we have and will be committing additional and specific resources over the next couple of months. So we should see some improvement there. In terms of break-ins, divisional plans have been adjusted to address this issue.
The Commissioner also revealed that 268 illegal firearms and over 5,500 rounds of ammunition have been seized since the start of 2022. He says the Joint Anti-Gang Task Force has been very active since its implementation, accounting for several arrests and seizures, including motor cars, bikes, and other paraphernalia used in crimes.
We will continue to go after the money, the drugs, and the criminals. The team, and in particular our rank and file members, have demonstrated their commitment and resolve to keeping our people safe.
Major General Anderson is urging the public to get involved and support the crime-fighting initiatives through Crime Stop at 311, the 811 tip line, or the police emergency number at 119. Meanwhile, National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang has given the assurance that the application and issuing of firearm licenses will be made easier under the new legislation. Dr. Chang says the new firearms bill will incorporate policies to improve the current vetting process and ensure that persons seeking to acquire legal firearms are law-abiding citizens who want to protect themselves.
We have separated the legal from the legal. For legal firearms, we obviously want to provide quality service, have a transparent system with integrity, but one that is accessible to the citizens, and therefore they can get their licensing with reasonable time.
Minister Chang was speaking at the official opening of the Firearm Licensing Authority FLA office in St. Anne last week. The new facility, which is the FLA's fourth location, is expected to expand service delivery for persons living in St. Anne, St. Mary, and Trelawney. Chief Executive Officer of the FLA, Shane Dalling, says the agency's Northern Regional Office will offer improved security, privacy, and convenience to stakeholders.
We have improved our security infrastructure by linking electronically with the Criminal Records Office, where individuals coming in to do their application as well as renewal are fingerprinted, and we know the results of their criminal background in 1 minute.
Jamaica is rapidly expanding its climate resilience efforts with the latest development of a data-driven tool to map climate risks. The Jamaica Systemic Risk Assessment Tool, JSRAT, was developed by the University of Oxford in partnership with the Planning Institute of Jamaica, PIOJ, and the Coalition for Climate Resilient Investment, CCRI. Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Senator Matthew Samuda, launched JSRAT at an official opening ceremony and training program held at the Jamaica Pegasus on Tuesday.
The Jamaica Systemic Risk Assessment Tool, or JSRAT, a key output of this pilot project, has been developed to identify hotspots across the country's major infrastructure networks, such as energy, water, transport, most vulnerable to climate risk, ensuring the effective, efficient investment of public and private resources.
JSRAT will be used to identify our vulnerability to climate hazards and guide the planning of proper infrastructure development.
We anticipate that the combination of the analytical capabilities of this tool, along with those of relevant local platforms and the transfer of knowledge to local technical personnel, should help to better guide our decision-making on future location and investment for infrastructure.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness is embarking on a series of reforms to the delivery of primary or community health care over the next few years. This is being supported by the tabling of the Primary Healthcare Reform for Jamaica 2021 to 2030. Portfolio Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton tabled the document while delivering his contribution to the sectoral debate.
This will include an upgrading and networking for telehealth services of over 130 health centers, and that has started to include telemedicine and electronic record capabilities and the use of digital technology to support continued education and a review of the clinical guidelines, as well as enhanced diagnostics.
Dr. Tufton adds that a new chronic care model for the management of NCDs will be rolled out as part of this primary healthcare reform plan. And finally, healthcare workers will be recognized for their sterling service in the fight against COVID-19. On Monday, Cabinet signed off on the submission of a document from the Ministry of Health and Wellness, which includes a series of activities for July, which will be observed as Healthcare Workers Appreciation Month.
Healthcare workers from across the island will be recognized through a series of events and activities at the parish, regional and national levels. These events and activities include church services, family fun days, and award banquets. Wednesday, July 13 will be declared Healthcare Worker Appreciation Day, and we invite all stakeholders to join in celebrating our national health heroes.
The period of observation will also feature the unveiling of a monument in honor of healthcare workers who have died as a result of COVID-19. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
Jamaicans consume on average 9 to 12 grams of sodium or salt per day, twice the World Health Organization recommended amount of less than 5 grams or 1 teaspoon of salt, and more ideally, less than 2 grams of sodium per adult per day from all food sources. This excess salt in the diet causes high blood pressure, kidney and bone damage, gastric cancer, obesity, and worsening of asthma. Reduce the amount of salt you consume to no more than 3 to 5 grams, or half to 1 teaspoon per day for adults, and less than 2 grams for children under 11 years of age. Let's shake the salt habit and live healthy. A public service message from the Jamaica Information Service.
Over the years, the Ministry of National Security has been forging partnerships to secure our borders from illicit activities. This has been strengthened through the recent signing for the final phase of the Seaport Corporation project, SeaCorp.
The SeaCorp Global Project, funded by the European Union Instrument Contribution to Stability and Peace under the European Union's Global Illicit Flows Programme, contributes to forging effective regional and global responses, such as strengthening mechanisms for cooperation within the region and with external partners, including capacity for real-time access to information and intelligence exchange.
The Jamaica Defence Force has always been a part of the SeaCorp program. We continue to support it. We see the benefit and the force multiplier of being able to train together, share together, and build our capacity to tackle the common threats in the maritime space.
As you've seen from our interdictions, we've seen guns coming through the ports, we've seen drugs coming through the ports, and of course illicit goods. And so we have to put what's necessary in place to deal with it. But the best way of doing it is a multi-agency approach. Obviously, we as the police see certain things. The JDF will see it, the Coast Guard, but also Customs Agency, key partner in this, will also see things. So we collaborate.
The idea is to provide intelligence to the teams in charge of roamage in ports or in sovereignty waters. And And the third goal of CCOP is to support, to strengthen a better regional and inter-regional cooperation between the beneficiary countries.
It will result in an increase in the frequency of mentoring to the Joint Maritime Control Unit vessel search teams to twice per annum, utilizing both trainers from the UK Border Force as well as the French Customs. As this is intended to be the final phase of the project, and in an effort to ensure the sustainability, the project will collaborate with the Regional Security System of CARICOM to deliver a training of trainers program for the region. And so collaboration with the Joint Regional Communication Center of CARICOM will facilitate the provision of maritime intelligence element of this training.
The Jamaica Customs Agency is proud to be a vital partner and a key member in this fight against transnational criminality. In unity there is strength, and when agencies reinforce each other, share information, resources, the outcome is more effective.
Concerned about uncollected garbage at home? Do you see garbage piling up on the streets? Then report it. Use the National Solid Waste Management Authority's mobile app to report instances of littering, illegal dumping, and uncollected garbage. From anywhere and at any time, be an environment warden by informing the authority of unsightly solid waste. You will be notified when your report has been received by the NSWMA, as well as when the matter is resolved. Download the app from the iOS or Android app stores by typing in NSWMA. Play your part, as Jamaica's beauty is everybody's duty.
The Students' Loan Bureau has simplified its application process to make it easier and accessible to more applicants. Executive Director Nikisha Walsh explains.
The Students' Loan Bureau is Jamaica's premier student loan financing organization committed to ensuring that qualified, needy Jamaican students have equal access to financial assistance to pursue tertiary education for the last 50 years. In excess of 10,000 students apply for loans annually, and on average, 99% of these are successful in accessing an SLB loan. Welcome to Finance Matters. I'm Daniel Pasley, and today I'll be speaking to the Executive Director for the Students' Loan Bureau, Ms. Nikisha Walsh, about how they're making it easier for persons to access tertiary education. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow the Ministry of Finance on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to see all the episodes and highlights. Thank you, Ms. Walsh, for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Now, recently, the Students' Loan Bureau has celebrated something monumental. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, the student loan is celebrating 50 years in existence, and so far in 50 years we have issued over $51 billion in loans to approximately 340,000 students. So
$51 billion to
$51 billion.
Over 340,000 students?
Yes, that is correct.
Wow. How is the Students' Loan Bureau making it easier for current and prospective students to access loan support?
Currently, students can access our website and apply through our portal, where you will get a response within 48 hours. This is a pre-approval to tell you that you are qualified for a loan. Thereafter, you'll get an email to tell you what are the documents that you need to submit. Since COVID, we recognize that persons cannot come to the office to drop off their documents. So what we have done, we have partnered with 3 ATIs, which is University of the West Indies, University of Technology, and NCU. You can drop off your information at those colleges and they will submit it to us. Also, we have a Dropbox facility in the office, so you can put it in our pre-envelope and you can drop it off, where we will call you and tell you that your loan has been applied and you can now come in and sign the promissory note. So we are looking at ways where you don't have to actually travel to the office.
Yeah.
So we are currently developing a system, a new loan management system that will have our applicants, our students, not just apply but also upload your documents, and we have partnered with the university, so we will get the information directly from them through their portal in terms of confirmation that you're confirming the university and also their information on their status. So if you're a returning student, we will want to know what is your current GPA, and because you have to have a minimum GPA in terms of to apply for a return student.
So what is the minimum GPA?
The minimum GPA is 1.5. So we need to ensure that you are current and you are in college before you can get your second semester loan or your second term loan. So instead of you bringing in your GPA, we are using the portal through the ATIs to access those information. So we want it to become easy. You stay at your home, you apply, you upload your documents, we validate the information, and then you can come in and sign your promissory note without making a trip more than once.
So do you still need more than one guarantor?
No, since this financial year, you are only allowed to have one guarantor. We assess our risk and we recognize that, moving forward to assist persons in terms of getting all the documentation together, we are just accepting one. And that was announced by our minister this financial year.
So we're in this challenging period of COVID-19. How has the trends been like for persons who are applying for student loans for the last year?
Oh, happy for that question. Last year, we saw a 4.5 increase in applications. We recognize that pandemic, it's new. Persons weren't having the opportunity to go overseas to do the work and study program. We saw where parents are no longer employed because of the fallout in the economy. So persons now access our benefits. So we're happy for that 4.5 increase, and we want to make sure that our facilities open and enough funds to access even more persons.
And I saw in the news about the Jump Start program. I see that's an exciting initiative being launched by SLB. Could you tell us more about that?
Well, we recognize that outside of the loan facility, there are some programs that are above our limit. So student loan maximum for our loan is $1 million. And there are some programs, and there are some persons, not just tuition needs, but school-related expense. So our Jumpstart scholarship is valued at $300,000 each for 10 lucky students. So to apply for that, you would need to go online, submit your application, and there is a financial need assessment to see if you fall in the category of needy students. So that is a one-off scholarship for only persons entering in their first year.
Only in their first year.
Yes, it's a jump start into college. So we want you to, be able to go to college and pay for other school-related expenses. And that is how we feel like we want to give back, especially at this juncture in our 50 years.
Wow, great initiative. Now, how can persons access more information?
You can go to our website, www.slbja.com, or you can also come into our office and collect the application form, or you can send us an email at info@slb.com, and you can also follow us at Student Loan Bureau on the other social media handles.
Thank you, Ms. Walsh, for coming on the program and sharing some pertinent information about the new developments happening at the Students Loan Bureau.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for joining us on Finance Matters. Remember, you can follow us on social media at MOF Jamaica, and tune in next week as we continue to demystify the economic and fiscal policies and initiatives implemented by the government to empower Jamaicans as we chart a path to Jamaica's economic prosperity.
what's up? Girl, me just get someone for jury duty, but me don't want to have anything to do with courthouse.
This is your chance to help someone get justice. Plus, you can learn about the court system and serve your country.
And since when regular somebody like me get called for jury duty?
Well, once you're between 18 and 70, your name is on the voters list, or you have a TRN, them can summon you.
Contact the Court Administration Division for further information at 876-754-8337 or visit the Supreme Court website at www.supremecourt.gov.jm.
Brought to you by the Justice Undertakings for Social Transformation Program, a project funded by Global Affairs Canada.
As we celebrate our children this month, let us respect their rights and be sensitive to their needs. And for those with a disability, that can be as simple as calling them by their names. Here's why.
Call me Nefishiba.
Call the person by their names if you know their names. And if you don't know their names, ask. I recall when I was growing up, disability was not a word. Most persons who had varying impairments, people used to call them, even today, I'll use this one. They call persons with one hand or 1 foot one-y. And they call persons who are deaf the D word, which I will not say. The Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities and the Disabilities Act push forward that you put the person first. So I know sometimes we love to say the disabled man. He is a man first and foremost. And so I know too that some members of the disability community, they don't mind. But if we want to be politically correct, just remember it's a person first.
I know many of our children and youths and even adults, they face labeling in their communities. And one of the derogatory terms that people would use to describe them is that you're retard or you're retarded. And those are terms that, emotionally, they hurt persons with intellectual disability because you're seeing the person with a condition and not the person.
I am Hannah Kay.
They are also referred to as handicapped.
Don't call me that.
Don't call me that. But we all know that what we refer to as a handicap is a barrier that you place. It can be a physical barrier, it can be an attitudinal barrier that you place on the person. But the person is not a handicap. Anybody with a disability is a person first. And so you address the person. Do you, the tall person? No. You would call the person by him or her, by his or her name. So address the persons by their names.
You might say that, but the person is deaf, I can't sign. Ask them, maybe they can write, or maybe they can lip it, and you figure it out together. Or if someone is in the space, they can maybe tell you, but ask. It's always nice to ask. And people who are blind are not necessarily deaf. So we do not need to shout and, scream if it's a person who is blind. They can hear and they can speak.
It's a challenge, but for most persons will find the term visually impaired acceptable. People have many ways of referring to persons who are blind, which we in the blind community will find quite derogatory, right? There are terms that people use, sometimes, the tease of the other children, for example, referring to them as bat or blind bat, or blinky, or cast eye, or those terms obviously are not acceptable terms and are not terms of endearment at all.
I recently went to a function and the question was asked in the room, what do you think, what are the words that come to mind when you hear the word deaf? And everybody, you know, in the audience sought to say no hearing, discriminated against, and all those kinds of words. And the deaf person said, what about champion? What about an achiever? What about a motivator? What about those positive words that we refer to others in society as? People with disabilities are those too. And so if we begin there, no, you do not have to pay money to change an attitude. An attitude is a decision. And so if Jamaicans, out of understanding that people with disabilities are people and they have capabilities, abilities like everybody else, then I think that will be a humongous achievement, because it will then have a ripple effect on everything else that happens in society.
We are just like you. We have the same needs, we do the same things. We work, we have families, we cook, we wash, we clean, we do all the same things. We are not different. It means that when you're thinking of persons who are blind or visually impaired, you know, think of us as, you know, your brother, your sister. The same things that you need, the same things that you want, respect, the need for autonomy, those are the same things that we want.
I know a lot of persons might say, but that is what they are. And I would say, no, that is not what they are. The disability might be part of their person, but they are not their disability. The disability is a condition. And so all the other derogatory words that are utilized, if we put ourselves in the position, recognizing that disability is no respecter of persons, whether class or socioeconomic status, color, disability has no bias. And so in these days when we have those beautiful roads and we drive on them at high speeds and we can end up in accidents, a disability is a second away.
This is where our journey ends, but only for today. Do join us again tomorrow when we'll bring you another informative program. In the meantime, stay connected via our website, jis.gov.jm. And while you're online, send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm or via tweet at JIS News. You may also find us on all the major social media platforms and through our mobile app that's Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the entire production crew, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.